My name's Curtis Sonny Eller. Everybody calls me Sonny at Universal. I'm a national sales manager for Universal Marketing, which is a Yellow Page Index is a division of Universal Marketing. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a sales presentation as we do in the field. But the first thing I want to do is to tell you how to set up a bank. You go in and ask for the director of marketing, and once you get in with that person, you very simple approach to this person. You tell the person, I've got a program that I'm going to show you that you can buy or you can get for free. And eventually you'll see how we do that. But the bank never has to pay for an ad unless they want to just buy a separate listing. When you go into the business, though, I want you to be sure and have your material in your hands, just as I have this here. I want you to have it holding it up like this, where they can see the telephone book. Because if you go in on a cold call and you approach the secretary, what you say to her is, I need to speak with your owner, and she's going to ask you what it's about. And you say, well, what's happening, we're making a new Yellow Page Index for the telephone book, and it could affect how your phone number's found next year. And she'll go get the guy, and he comes out, and you say the same thing. Mr. Jones, my name's Sonny Eller. We're doing a new index for the Yellow Pages. It could affect how your phone number's found. It only takes me a couple of minutes to show it to you. I'll be brief. Do you have time now? And he will give you the time. And what you do then is you just try to find a place to lay out your material that's convenient to get him away from the customer. One thing I want to show you is basically there's two kinds of Yellow Page indexes. One's called a listing index and the other one's called a display index. They all stick out of the book and say Yellow Page Index right here. But when you open it up, this is the display index. We have display ads on it, all on the front and on the back. The difference between it and the listing display, this is for a small book in a small town. This is the same one except it's a listing display. It has listings alphabetically A to Z, just like I said in the presentation. The same thing works for the larger books. This Yellow Page Index just sticks out of the book like this, and this one is a listing. As you can see here, it has listings alphabetically A to Z. The last one would be the display for the big book. It's the same as the little book, it's just for the bigger book. They all have the same amount of ads on them, and I'll explain all that to you later on. Once I'm in and I'm sitting down with the customer, what I say to them, Mr. Jones, the reason for the Yellow Page Index is because most of the people out there complain that the Yellow Pages are hard to find something in, they're confusing, they're time consuming. Now the Yellow Page Index for Cookeville, Tennessee, this town we're selling in, is just like this one. As you notice here, the tab sticks right out of the book. It's easy to use because it makes you go here first before going into the Yellow Pages. I'm going to take this one out so I can show you all the different things on it. First of all, we're going to have listings alphabetically A to Z. If you'll notice, we highlight the heading in bold red, the business name in bold black with your address and your phone number. The theory is if you want an accountant, you go to the A's. If you want attorneys, you go to the A's, banks to the B's, dentists to the D's, motels to the M, pharmacies to the P's, real estate to the R, so on and so forth. If you can use the alphabet, you can use this thing. All that information is on the very front. On this side, we list the city, county, and general interest numbers, like animal control, the city recorder, county clerk, driver's license bureau, library, social security office, police department non-emergency number, fire department non-emergency number, the sheriff's number. These are numbers that are difficult to find in the telephone book. Here's where the bank's ad goes right here. We give them a display ad right across the center, and we have a calendar on it. The calendar will be dated the day of distribution. That way they get a full year's use out of the calendar. That's on a listing magnet. On the display, the only difference in the presentation on the display is you explain to them that we do photographic type work on here. If you'll notice, these are all different kind of ads, and if you'll notice the quality of them. This ad right here was just a picture that was taken. This is the display listing for, like we have this bank here, Jasper Banking Company. They get the top spot right here. Then we sell ads on here, and we alphabetize the category headings just like we do on the listing, except the only difference is they're display ads. On this side, we have ads on the back. They're still alphabetical, if you'll notice. Everything's alphabetical, so you can go down here and find anything you want. And they have the county schools listed here. We have a calendar on the bottom, and the calendar is dated from the day of distribution, and it'll run for full 12 months. The way it works on price, Mr. Jones, is like this. It's a one-time annual investment of only $388 for the year. Now, unlike your Yellow Page ad where you pay almost that much per month, the Yellow Page Index ad is only $388 per year, and we guarantee that price for 3 years. Basically, that's our program. We'd like to have you as our plumber on there. Do you have a business card? If you do a display, you can if we have to mail them, you can use this close right here. You have a contract out, be ready to roll, and as soon as you get through, you ask the guy if he has a business card. When he hands you the business card, say, is everything correct on this card? And when he says yes, you just drop the card down and start writing on the contract. When you get about halfway through on the contract, you look up at him and you say, if you will, while I'm filling this out, if you would, make me out a check the Yellow Page Index for $388. That's $388 is the price for cash with order price that we're doing in this town. Now, at the end, if you're mailing it, you can use this close. We have a way to prove to you, Mr. Jones, that it worked, and the way we do that is we send out a reply card with every one of these that goes out. If you're doing a Yellow Page Index that is mailed out, it always has a business reply card. And what this card is, it's used to prove to the customer whether it works or not. And the way we do that is we ask them, we send this card out, and we pay the postage on these. These are all postmarked. This isn't something we sit in the office and fill out. We ask the people on here, will you use a business guide, yes or no, and why? And list businesses that you called off of it. These people said it's very helpful for the business numbers and emergency numbers, and I love the kitchen chart. It's very handy and available on, well, it's a whole lot more convenient to look at than to look up in the phone book. I already use many of these businesses, and this makes it easier to find them. Easier and more convenient to find a business. Easier to locate businesses. I like having the important numbers and frequently called numbers because that way I don't have to look up in the phone book. If I read every one of these cards to you, they basically say the same thing. It's faster, quicker, and more convenient. This way, when I come back to see you next year, this proves to you, I'll have a stack of cards like this, and it proves to you whether people use these or not. That's pretty much the way the presentation goes. There's a couple of hints to you, though. Is the best way to find you a customer when you get into the town is you go to the Yellow Pages and you start looking like at attorneys. You go to the last big ad with attorneys on it, and you try to sell him because you're jumping him over in front of all those other people that are spending huge bucks. So the Yellow Pages is your best method for customers. There are other ways which we'll get into with you when you get down the road a little bit further with us. But basically this is what we're doing. This is pretty much the presentation. If you'll watch this and if you'll use this material that I've showed you and pretty much stay with this kind of presentation, and I'm not asking you to stay word for word. We give you a written presentation, but I just try to keep it in the correct sequence that I gave it in. In other words, from the time that you tell him the reason that we're doing it down to the close. Basically, that's our presentation. If you give this 8 to 10 times a day, you'll make very good money. Thank you for taking this time to listen to the video, and welcome to Universal Marketing.